welcome to another tutorial. This is the third part of the tutorial where we're going to have a look at WordPress interface. So as we always start with, don't forget to check out the website if you want some inspiration. Go to hintling.com and there's tutorials and everything as well, and it's updated regularly. So enough about that. Let's start our server. So the first thing you need to do is you need to go down here and search for the server. So you need to open SAMP. So if you type SAMP down here, Container, you get the control panel, click on that, and it runs here. So yours might not be running, so if you just start those up, and you should see them both going green. So the next thing we want to do is we want to open up a website. Now, so mine is on the local host, and as I said before, it will be the folder, a directory you created the name you go to. So we go to this. You will notice a web page. So this is the front of it. It's not a control panel. You may notice that we don't have any of the bars we had up here, which was part of a control panel with WordPress. The reason is because I'm logged out at the moment. So you may wonder, how do you get into the control panel? Because sometimes it's available here. You can log in through. Depends on what widget you use, whether you have made it available there. However, the path to it, if you're up here, is that you want to go to the specific page to log in. So if I type wp-admin, that's how you log in. That would take you to the login screen. So you will then have your credentials. So yours will probably be different from mine. Just paste these in here. And I'm just going to click remember me. So you notice that we have been taken to the control panel. Don't want to say that. So let's go over what is actually in the control panel. Up here we have the logo of WordPress, so you can quickly go onto the wordpress.org sites. Not that interesting at the moment. However, this one is. This link will take you to your front page. So if I click site, we are now on the home page, so that's root. So if I want to go back, I can click up here again, hover, and then click the dashboard. Then we're back in there. Next one is your updates, if there's any comments. So not comments as it is anything relevant, related news. Then you have new, so that's be your new post, media, and pages, and users. Over here, it's kind of the main menu of things. So let's just go over the dashboard before we go into that. The dashboard is just you can arrange it as the way you want it. Going up here, you can then in your screen option click what you want, your activities and etc. So you can set it up the way you want it. So let's just go over here. So the first thing is you probably want to be working with is posts. So in post, you notice there's already one post created up, and that's the post we see out here. I'm going to open this in a new tab by just right clicking. So this is a post down here. So it's going to say hello world and welcome to WordPress. If I was to click on the post here, we'll notice that the hello world is there. The text here, the body copy we saw there, is here, and it was then published on this date. And there's one comment on it. Alright. So that's how you see an original post. Every time you create a post, it pop up in here, and you have it as published there if you have published it. You can create a draft, as we've seen a bit. So let's just create a new post. Clicking add post. So you have your title here. I'm gonna do hello from Hintling. Like that. As I said, you can save a draft here, so if you're not quite done and ready to get it published yet, you can set it like that. And if you go back to all posts, you have a draft version here. You notice it's not up in published, but we have a draft section here. So we click on that, we get all the drafts. So let's go in here. So we can then give it some body copy. And this is a rich text editor, so you can make it bold and you can do a lot of fancy stuff here, arrange it which sides you want to do. If you want to have more control over it, you can click the text over here and you can put your own HTML in. So what you could do is, say if I clicked set hello down here and then highlight it and click bold, you'll notice in here that it gets the HTML text of strong. So that's it. So you can also do formats, but we're not going to get too much into that right now. What you will notice down here is that we have categories. So we want to set up some categories and some text for your website, which we're also going to get into in a bit. But you can select them in here and you can also add them here. Some will allow you to select a feature image, so that's the image that's going to show up with, say, depending on what theme you use. If your feature image would be the one that show up on your main page, and you can also make it show up on your actual post when you go to it. So that completely depends on your theme, and we're going to look into this later, how to actually code that and have full control over it. So let's just go back to posts. Sorry, let's just stay here and publish this, just to see it in action. And what then you will be able to do is you click your view post up here and it will take you to the actual post. So you're no longer on the front, you see we're under the state and it's helloed. So if I was to go to the main page, if I did like that, you should now see another post. So we now have two posts. So let's go back again and go to posts. Say I wanted to edit both of these. What you can do is you can click on both of them, and then you can go up to bulk actions and you can then say edit and you can then apply, and this will allow you to put them into certain categories, all of them, or you can change the status, format, and so on. So if you want to do something quickly, that's how you do that. Right, let's go down to categories and tags. You see here we have uncategorized, which is your first tag, which it's not really a tag because we don't want anything to be uncategorized. So we want to be, say we're doing Hintling. So we want something like graphic design. A category called graphic design. So your slug will be what you see up here. So that, or VP. So we want that to be graphic design, like that. It will also make one itself if you just leave it out. So, and then you can then make it a parent of it. So we could make it a parent so it would appear under this group. Say we had a group called design, and then we could make that a child of design, if that makes sense. So we don't want the description now, let's just add a, right, so we now have a category here. Let's just add another one and call that illustration. Sorry, illustrations, like that. And let's just add it. You see the slug, it created itself. If we then go back here and into a post, we can now categorize a post under graphic design, on the illustration. We don't want it to be then in this anymore. And then we can click update. Time to update. And we then go back here. You will notice over here it's now categorized under these. So if I was to click on this, I'll get all the posts like here that belongs to that category. Alright, tags works the similar way. Tags, so you can sort of understand category and tags. It's one of confusing terms when you get to WordPress. What should I be made into a tag? What should be made into a category? So that's obviously different ways of doing it, but my suggestion to you would be your overall main categories, turn them into categories. If you want to specify a post by something else, say in a bit more detail, say we have a building, we want to make a category of, say, interior design, but then this is a specific type of interior design, so there might be a modern interior design, or it might be a Victorian interior design, or something like that. So I went that into your tags. So you need to work a bit at that, and it's kind of important that you get this tagging and category categorizing right in the beginning, because if you start having hundreds and hundreds of pages, you don't want to go back and having to reorganize your content and so on. So get it right, give it some consideration. You can change it later, but I suggest you try to get it right from the beginning. Alright, so that's your categories. And text, as I said, works in a similar fashion. You can call, let's say, this example, we can do it, call it modern, and then we can add the tag. Like that, and we can then go into post again here, and you will have similar as your categories in tags. We can then say, if we choose from most used here, it's not most used, but let's just get modern. See, it's there. Right, so that's the one we have there, and we just add that. So now our post will have this under it. Alright, I'm not going to go into preview changes because it's pretty much the same. Right, let's go into media. In here we can upload our images. So say you want to add a new image to your post, you can do it here, click add, and you can select your file. I don't have one on my desktop here, and by uploading it there, it will now be available for you to put into your post. There's other ways to do it as well, but let's just have a look at it. If I click on it here, you can then describe your image. So you want to do your alternative tag here. So that's if your image does not load, you want a bit of text to explain what it is, why it is loading. Also, you want this text because of the screen readers, so people using screen readers that can't see the image would like to know what's actually going on in the image. So you fill that in, and you then got caption and description as well. Title is when you hover over it, you get a little description of it. So alright, so fill those in when you uploading an image. So make it internet as accessible as possible by doing that. Alright, so we have it here. If we then go into a post in here, we can now select a feature image down here. So we go to the media gallery and we select that one. So our post will now have this image. What you also notice is you can also upload it from in here. So just update that one. If I remove it, sit there, and you can say upload files, and you can select the image again in similar fashion. You can do bulk as well. If you select, go in here, upload, and you would, that was more on one page, you can select all of them and upload them at the same time. Alright, so I don't know whether this theme is actually using any images, but let's just have a look. No, it's not set to be using any images at the moment. Otherwise you have an image show up here, so don't worry about that. Right, so your comments, let's leave pages for now, because well, let's just have a look at it. You can create pages, so you can give them a bit of text and things like that, and it becomes relevant once you want to allow another, say admin, you make two admins or something of a site, or you make someone the content editor of your site, and you want them to be able to change text on a certain page. So if we were to create a template, we could create a template for this page, and those less savvy users would then be able to go in and actually change the page without having to go into the HTML and update it. So that's how you would use this. But let's dig into the comments instead, because we'll get over this once we start working with the themes. You know, notice that in here that WordPress has already done one comment on our post. So we can click on our comments, and what you also notice is once you start having a WordPress page, you will have a lot of people going onto the site, and you will have unwanted comments. So you can set it to that you have to approve each comment before they actually gets published onto your site, which is somehow recommended depending on how many you're actually getting. I have noticed a lot once the sites I've been running is that people tend to try to do advertising through your site. So we notice that they will comment on your content or something, or usually they use a robot to go around and actually comment with the same comment on every single time. It happens on YouTube as well. And then they put in a link and saying blah blah blah, I watch your content, I like it. By the way, look at this link, and they're basically linking back to their own content and using your site as an advertising platform. So you obviously don't want to allow those. So you can add them to your spam folder, or you can trash it straight away. So this comment has been approved, so you can unapprove it by clicking down there. So that's how that works, and you will notice that over here it says 1. Means there's only one comment on this post on the hello world. So once people start commenting, they will show up in here, and you can do your bulk actions again as before. You can mark a spam and so on. So that's your comments. Our next section in the menu over here is your appearance. That will be your HTML and your CSS. However, it's done in a way so you don't really have to work with the CSS and the HTML. So if you just want to change the color and things like that, you can do it depending on how your theme is built. So if you click on appearance, what the first part in here will be your overall theme. So this will be your theme itself, and what you can do in here is you can click on it and you can select that theme. So I want to activate this. So I'm going to change all the layout to be using this one. So if I go to the page here, do like this, you notice everything changes. And go to the home page. You see? So that's how that works. So what you can then do is you can go up here and you can then add new themes, and there's loads for you to select from. There's many free ones, and you can also upload your own theme, and that would be to a zip file you can download from the site, and then you can then upload it through here, and then you can then click install. But yeah, so you can search for theme here and see which is popular and so on. However, let's go into a bit of a customization of it. So depending on how your theme is written, some of these functions is going to be available for you. So you'll be able to change the site identity of it. So you say, instead of that there, we wanted it to be called Hintling. Like that. You see it's updated up there. You want your tagline underneath. And say, inspiration for you. And you can also select an image if you wanted to do that. Alright, so let's just save and publish that. And you will notice up here that we should see the update. There you go. So if you go back here, you see you can change the colors. So this is the title. So maybe you want that to be orange. And you want it to be the background color to be different, so that. Well, that might actually not work with this theme. However, let's just see. Yeah, there we are. So the background color is over there with this theme. So you will notice that that's pretty much the section for most of the parts of the website will be separated up into a header, a footer, and then a sidebar, and then your main. And then in these areas you can then put widgets. So we see down here, and you will then have your menu. Depending on the site, you can have the menu over here, or you can have it in there. However, let's just go into the menus first. And you can obviously upload a background picture, but I'm not going to show you that because I'm sure you can work out to pick a picture. However, you can add a menu. So if you click here, we can call it the primary menu maybe. And we can then create a menu. And we want it to be the top menu. And then we want it to, yes, that's fine, all this. And then we can then add our pages, as you see here, if we automatically add the pages we create. So let's just save and publish that. And go out. And then we can go in here. And we can then add a page. We can say it's an about page. Say about us. And publish that. And then we notice when we go here, we now have an about over here. So if I was to click on about, it would take us to the about page. So that's how that works. So let's just go back into appearance. I was talking a bit about the widgets. So the widgets are small boxes of functionality you sort of can put it in parts of the website. So you see here the parts that's been defined here is your content sidebar and your primary sidebar and your footer. So if I want to take something in a footer, I would drag it over there and drop it there. So you see there's a search here and recent post, and that will match up to these over here. So we have a search and so on. So if I don't want to search, I'll click on it and say delete, like that. Okay, now, and if I do this, you see the search gone. So if I want to add something, I'll go back into widgets and just to remove that one now, like that. Just drag it out. Say you wanted to add a tag cloud, you can drag it over, and you can drag it over to your footer and so on. But let's just put it here. So your tag cloud will be a cloud of your tags. So see if it updates it. So here's our tag. So we only got one tag, so that's that one. So that's how you work with the widgets. And this is all the widgets available for you. It may depend on what theme you're using. It might be different what you see in here, but so on. Let's go on to plugins. It will install a couple of plugins for you once you actually get in here. First, you can keep them. You can just throw them out if you want. You can delete them by clicking here. At the moment, these are not activated, but once you download a plugin or add a plugin, you will have to activate it afterwards. So you click that. If it's now activated, we're going to request you create an account for this plugin, so we're not going to do that. So you can say hello Dolly. There's hundreds thousands of plugins out there, so I'm sure you can find something for your need. So if you want to find a plugin, you can go up here and click add new. So this is the most popular plugins you get here. The VP Supercast, for example, would be one to speed up your website by caching the pages by simply turning it into static HTML and quickly serving that. There's a lot of other ones in here, so you can go over those. And here's an example of a tag cloud down there. So that's your plugins. You just install those. So let's try and install this one, just to speed up a website. You notice it's downloading it, and then it will ask you to activate it afterwards once it's unpacked and installed it. So click activate. And some things about plugins, like depending on how they're written, you need to turn them on first. So sometimes they'll be put under tools, or they will get their own section down here. It depends on how they've been written. What you see here, it turned on. So if you go down to settings, you can then set up your plugin here. So if you want to have the cache on now, etc., etc. So just go through the instruction on how to install your specific plugin. Can't go over all of them here, but usually they come with a description on what to do. So that's your plugins. Users, just ignore that for now. Your users will be so your admin, so you can create a new user. So see, as I said, admin over here. So you create a new user so someone else wants to have access, and you can give them privileges and so on. So right in tools, what you find in here is the quick press button if you want to quickly publish things and so on. We're not going to go too much into that. It's a bit more interesting is importing, because you can import and export certain things like your data. So that's quite interesting, because you might want to say export your posts. You can do like that, and you can select which categories and so on to export, and you can click it down the export file down here. Alright, so in settings, also another thing about tools is some of your plugins might be installed under this section, so check in there when you install them if you can't find your plugin. In your settings is your overall settings, your general settings down here. So your WordPress address, etc., etc., your email address, and your subscriber, and so on. So in writing, there will be your mail server. You can set that up depending on what host you're using. In reading, in here, that will be your comments and your posts. And set that up as you go over them as you want. sorry, the comments will be. You heard that was a bomb. Many military test fields, so don't worry. It's me who have to worry about it. So, yeah, sorry. In the discussion section, what you notice in here is that you can turn off and on features. So, say for example, I don't want anyone to just post to my site. So I would be, anyone can post a comment. No, I don't want that. So a comment is held for moderation. That was what I said before. If I don't want the comment to just show straight up on the page, I want to actually approve it first. You can have that on. This would recommend if you're not having 1,000 comments a day. It completely depends on your setup. So yeah, just go over here. You can check it. As I said, you can basically read what they say and change them how you want them. So you can obviously also blacklist people and URLs, which is quite useful as well. If you're getting certain spammers or someone saying inappropriate things, you can blacklist by doing that. Your avatar, that will be the picture showing up next to your comments. So you give the comment. So this one, I'm going to be using this one, a mystery person now. It's just the default one. So yeah, and then you can obviously set your PG rating and things like that. Then there's the media. This is where it gets a bit interesting, because you need to know a bit about the theme itself. So once you start working the theme, you can request different sizes of your image to optimize the site. So say in your front page you have all images in 300 pixels times 300 pixels. You don't want to request a full size image on that page. You want to do that, for example, on your actual post. So on the front page where you load a lot of posts, you don't want the large images. So you can specify your actual ratio of your images here. And then once you build your template, you can say, I want the medium size picture, like that. So this is all when you upload it. As I say, when you add it to a media gallery. So you set it up there. Now, permalinks is another important thing that would define how your links look up in URL up here. URL links looks. So if I was to go to a post like that, you see I have the date up here, and then I have the name of the post. That will be here, date and name. That's what was selected. So you can select it just by plain. That would just be the ID of the post. Then there's the month and the name. So you have the month and the name of the post. Then the numeric value. So that's just your archives, and then your ID of the post. Then there's the post name. And then there's creating your own structure. So you have these percentage signs, and then you would type in how you wanted to say I want it to be post name and then date, like this. So you can do the date there. That's how that would look. So why I'm saying this is quite important, it's quite important when you're working on a local host, because you might have set it to, you want a nice URL, looking friendly URL, so people don't have to type numbers or anything. And that's I would recommend you doing that once you actually are on a production server. However, once you're doing here, if you are gonna export your site to your production environment, and when I say production environment, that's your live server, you will have to sort of go back here and say set it to plain, because otherwise all these paths that would be local host and things like names and so on would be messed up in your database. So if you set it there, you're gonna save yourself some trouble. You will still have to run over with the tool in the end just to replace certain things like this, but do that. Alright, so these are just the ones we just installed, and we've been over those. Go up here again. So we created our post. We can go in and edit it. I'm going to update it, and we can preview it and say in a post we did this, and then we say hello Hintling. But I then say it, updated it. You would then say over here that it creates certain revisions. So if you had long text and someone messed it up, or you messed it up and you want to go back to a previous version, you can do like this. You click that, and you will see here this revision. So in this version I only have hello and then store to that point. See, we're back to hello and can update that. So that's quite a handy tool. So I think that's pretty much everything you need to know about WordPress, the interface for now, to get you started and going. In the next tutorials we'll be looking on the more interesting stuff of actually doing your own theme and plugins, so tune in for that. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.